This is the Basu Lifestyle Show, the show about learning what it takes to build a superior you. We're talking mentally, physically, and financially. Today, as you can see, we don't have a guest. Today, I'm going to interview my co-host, Tony. We're going to dig into his past, where he's been, how he started Wolf Fitness, the gym he had before that, and where he plans to take Wolf Fitness. We're also going to go through how you could start your own gym if that's what you're looking to do in the future, and he's going to give you the step-by-step. This is not going to be something you want to miss if you ever thought about opening a gym. Tony, what do you want to throw in before we get started?
Um, Shit. If you want to own a gym, just be prepared to work. Like with everything else, it's tiring, but it's like anything else you choose to do for yourself. It's the most rewarding job in the world, as long as you like what you do.
And I feel like probably out of gym goers, I would say probably 6 out of 10 say I want to own a gym.
100%.
Obviously, only probably 2 out of 10 actually do, if that.
Want to own one?
No, I'm saying 6 out of 10 want to, 2 out of 10 or 1 out of 10 maybe actually ever do.
Probably less than that.
Probably half a percentage out of one.
Yeah, I would say most people when they say, "Oh, I really like," we've had members say, "Oh, I wanted to buy this gym before you bought it." I get it, you missed the opportunity. And they said, "Oh, I should have opened a gym here myself." I get it, you missed the opportunity. But most people are so set in what their current grind is that it's opening a gym will be a distraction. While it would be, in my opinion, one of the best things you can do for yourself, if you're set with your 9 to 5 and then your other, whatever your after the 9 to 5 grind is, and you're making the money that you need to make ends meet, plus some, opening a gym is going to be, once you sit down and look at the metrics, you get paid less. It's going to be like you're going to have to take a step back and be like, is this something that I really, 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 really want to do? Because I'm going to change my current lifestyle drastically.
I'm going to have a whole other job.
Yeah, grind, hope, and bet that I'm going to get to a spot where I'm going to make just what I'm making right now, plus some in a year or two. Because the money doesn't just flow in. It actually goes out faster than it comes in for the first couple of years because you have to, until you build a stockpile of cash, which I haven't done that yet, it takes time. It's always, there's like every single day there's something that money needs to go out for. Today it was light bulbs for our overhead bay lights, which are like $150 a bulb. Well, we have 100 lights.
Yeah, that's a lot of bulbs.
Yeah, so you're talking about, thankfully only a handful are out, but it's still $700. That's a nice little ding.
And it's not like you're going to get a gym and be like, oh, I can get a pump whenever I want. Because anytime I come there and you're there, it's not we're just getting a workout in. It's everybody wants to either talk to you about something, show you something that's broken, or get you to fix something.
Yeah, and they also, and no disrespect to any of the people, they also tell me what the gym's missing.
Yeah.
Like, most recently, and they were right, something that we overlooked was a lower back extension because we had 2 pieces of equipment that trained that lower back. We didn't get the free weight bench for it because we're like, well, we have 2 other pieces you could do this on. People really like that lower back piece, right? But to buy a quality piece of the gym equipment that's commercial grade, the lower back extension was around $1,100.
Yeah.
The metric for $1,100, if we're a $40 a month gym, is, well, 2 people almost make 100, times that by 10, so I'm making like 25 people's worth of money is not coming in that month. But I still have to pay the employees the same, the landlord the same, the electric's going to not change. So I'm taking $1,000 out of earned income and putting it back towards a piece of equipment. On the business side, yeah, I can appreciate it, but it's still money going out constantly. If it's not one thing, it's the other. So I find it to be, I personally find it to be one of the most rewarding things that you can do, not just as an entrepreneur, which is the most rewarding thing you can do for yourself, but I like what we do because we build communities. I don't just build gyms.
Yeah, you actually see the results of your actions.
Yes.
It's not like some other business where you don't see it. You actually go there, you get to feel it, experience it, and you can see the transformation you really made to the building and the impact you're making on your community.
Yeah, like if you walk into any 4 of our gyms, you've been to all of them, you'll see honor, integrity, community, and commitment on all 4 of our walls in every space now and every space in the future, which we call our 4 pillars. So those are our 4 pillars of excellence. Without any one of those pillars, the building crumbles, and we feel that way about the business as well. If we can't treat you with honor and integrity and respect, and we don't act like you're a part of the community, or we don't engage with the community that we're in, we're not committed to the space, it's never going to work.
True.
And so my wife and I built pretty much our business plan based around those 4 things. And those are 4 things that I kind of took with me from the Sheriff's Department, and before that, Boy Scouts. That was on our walls in our little troop. 175 River Rats, what's up?
Okay, so
yeah.
So let's dig into from the beginning. So
Yeah.
we'll start with high school. What were you like in high school? Grades and what did you play sports or what did you do?
So I was a nerd,
Okay.
and
You were a 6'8"
I was
nerd, or
6'6" boxing. I boxed. I was a choir kid. I looked forward to going home after school and playing my N64 with my little brother. I played soccer. I played paintball. We had a club team. One of my best friends, Matt, and I started. But it was pretty much like I had my little crew of like 4 or 5 friends, and we were like the merry little dumb bandits. Did everything together. I knew that my mom knew Friday nights I was sleeping over at Matt's house, and I'd come back Sunday morning. And then Sunday, I'd get my paintball shit, go back to Matt's house, and he'd back to the woods, and we were playing paintball all day.
okay.
So yeah, that was, I wasn't antisocial, but I wasn't overtly social. I had my crew, and I was happy with that. Otherwise, I started working at 14. I was bussing tables and washing dishes at a little place in Doylestown where I grew up. And then I started working at the YMCA, I think right around 17, as it was called a floor coach at the time. Basically, my job was to go around and clean up after people. Even it's 2023, people can't put attachments away. That was still pretty prominent in 2002. It's not like a new thing, it's been around for a while. So my job was to kind of go down, wipe the equipment, make sure the spaces were clean, pick up the attachments, keep them orderly. And if somebody didn't know how to use a piece of equipment, it then became my job to, safely show them how to use it. From there,
How old were you? Sorry, at that time.
at that time I was 17.
So it was like not a trainer, but like part
Not a
of your
trainer.
job is
Yeah.
kind of to help show them.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they trained you. I've been going to the gym since I was 12.
Yeah.
I think my mom signed us up for the Y when I was 14, and I loved it. But part of that job requirement was you have to be able to tell people how to use equipment. So they test you on it. Hey, I don't know how to use this. How would I use it? Just walk them through it. Super simple. That kind of turned into, at 17, I became like a youth coach. So they would put me up with a bunch of 10, 11-year-olds, and I would, for 30 to 45 minutes twice a week for a whole month, so 8 sessions, show them how to use every piece of equipment in the gym. We gave them a little card where we could track all of their weights, like, okay, lat pull down machine, you're at 30 pounds for 10 reps. And they would track that with them. So every time they came into the gym without me, they'd know what they were doing and where to go, all their little seat settings and shit. Did that for about a year. Well, I did that for a couple of years, but I turned 18 and I was able to become a personal trainer.
Okay.
The Y at the time was offering an in-house training seminar, so I took it. I passed it, I loved it. Started training people 2 to 3 times my age, but I really, really liked what I was doing. So everything that I was, training these people in, I was learning from either reading, but also from the other trainers who were more senior to me in the space. So they kind of taken me under their wing and showed me around. Instead of making people do full body workouts every single day, they taught me muscle pairing and muscle confusion. So I did that for a while. And I started teaching a bunch of classes for them. We called it AMPed, like AM, PED. It was like 5 a.m. in the morning. I had like 40 adults. I was beating the shit out of them in the studio, which that's kind of where I felt. I still teach boot camps because I fucking love them. I've been doing it forever.
There's something about beating up a group of people
It's just so
that they choose to get beat up in.
it's so good. It's as much for me as it is for them. It's nice. But we came to this crossroads where, I was probably just about to turn 19, and I was being paid like $14 an hour, and for a trainer, most of the older trainers were making like $35 an hour.
Okay.
And I was like, but I have 10 times more clients than them. My classes are all filled. Why am I being paid less? It was an age thing, right? Or maybe it was experiencing, I don't know. I never really stuck around long enough to find out the answer. I asked my boss for a raise, and they said no. I asked if I had a non-compete, which was a phrase I had just recently learned.
You didn't Google it. Was Google around then?
I don't know.
You encyclopedia did?
It
I can't say Googled
I
it.
think my mom actually told me what a non-compete was, if I recall, and or a client. And then they said you don't, so I said okay, I quit. And so, as like a juvenile little douchebag, I had everybody's contact information and all their emails. So before they kicked me out of the server, I put a new little email together saying, hey guys, I just quit, but I really love training you. If you guys want to continue training, I've already walked over to the high school. I've rented the football field for 4, 5, and 6 a.m. every single day, and I'm going to keep your pricing the same. So they were paying $199 a month for these classes, and so off the bat, I think like 25 people joined.
What month was this? Do you know? Like, was
No,
it
I
cold
don't
out?
remember. It wasn't cold out, but it got cold.
Yeah.
So we, for the first year before I could afford rent for a brick and mortar space, it was rain, snow, or shine. My ass was up and out of the house at 3:55 because I was 5 minutes from the field. I'm getting up at 3:30, getting dressed, getting ready for work. And I also had like a full-time job after that. But so I get there, rain, snow, or shine. I went to Home Depot the weekend before I started doing all this stuff. I got these 2-inch thick PVC pipes, filled them with concrete, spray painted them camouflage, did like 20 of them. I got a heavy tire from a construction company that didn't want it anymore. And so I would just tow this shit with me to the field. I had a little, at the time I think I had like a Bronco, and then a Scion, and then I finally got a Jeep, a little toaster Scion, towing all my shit around. But you know, we made it work.
I'm surprised that many people.
Well, I was with him for over
Was
a
it
year.
because your workouts? Was
Yeah.
it because you're such a good people person that they felt a connection with you?
Oh, I don't know about the good. That'd be speaking for them. I think that what happened was I had spent over a year of my life with these people, 5 days a week,
Helping them transform
yeah,
their body.
and they like I took like the average soccer mom and dad, and they got fucking ripped. Like these people were machines. Like I'm talking, we're at this football field, and our warm up was a quarter mile of lunges around the track, and then we do a quarter mile sprints, and then we do a quarter mile of squat jumps, and that's our warm up. And then we were doing suicides, burpee bear crawls. I had a ton of stations. We ran the bleachers. I had just, I mean, it was so much fun. I loved being outside. Even in the cold, we just layered up. But it worked for them. And they had replaced me with somebody else after I left. They had plenty of people to take over. And it just, the class just wasn't the same. You know, I started the class. It was something that I came up with a name for it. Like it was like my class.
Yeah, you were young, dumb, and didn't think you could fail, and it was just kind of like, let me just go for this and see what happens.
Yeah, I think I was also just, I just didn't like I was a single parent. I had, at that time, my son was just turning 1.
How old were you when you had your son?
I was 18.
You were 18,
Yeah.
so how old were you at this time?
I was about to turn 19.
Okay.
Yeah, so my son was he was like 7 months old. And rent's expensive, man. Like, baby food's fucking expensive. Making $14 an hour and you're by yourself, it was like an insurmountable task. It was heavy. And I worked at Home Depot during the day, like loading trucks, and then I took night shift for Home Depot because I became a locksmith. Like just a bunch of shit, but I always trained. I was always a trainer. I really, really, really loved that job no matter what I did. There was some kind of gym aspect in my life. And so we turned it into this thing where we started with 25 people, which was a blessing. It was more money than I was making at the line a month. Like, just from getting 14 an hour, I went from being 14 an hour to getting 199 a head. With 25 people, that's great fucking money.
Hell yeah.
So we grew up to around, I think we capped out at around like 47 people for the morning class, and like 20 people for the PM class. And it was getting really fucking cold come around the second season. And so I rented, there was a little Pilates studio in town that ran classes at the most random fucking hours, so they were empty a lot of the time. And so I rented out their space for times that they weren't there. I brought all my shit with me every single day. We had the classes inside when it was weather permitting. And then when it was nice outside, we just went to the field. So fuck it, let's go outside. I mean, no one's dying today. It's not snowing or hailing. Let's get outside. That turned into, it was time for Tony to graduate and put on big boy pants and get his first brick and mortar space. So in between the Pilates studio and the boot camps, which was probably a 2 or 3 year time span, I was in law enforcement.
When did you get into law enforcement? During this time, you're saying?
After that time. So,
Okay.
so I had, after we left, we had parted ways with the company, with the Pilates studio, and everybody had kind of just, I had moved from Doylestown to a town like 3 towns away, so
Okay.
it just made sense for me to take one-on-one clients. So I was going to people's houses. I was also working full-time as a locksmith, and so it just didn't make sense for me to keep doing these classes because I was never going to see my kid.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of time at work when he was 1, 2, and 3. Like,
Yeah.
it was just,
Hey, you had to support
I
them.
had to pay bills. So it took like probably, I trained I had clients the entire time, but I probably took a 2 or 3 year hiatus from like 24 to 27, from actually running a gym or like being in the gym and running classes and stuff like that. Just doing one-on-ones at home. I think when I was 27, I got out of the academy.
Into law enforcement.
Law enforcement, yeah.
Okay.
I want to say that. And then in 2012, I opened Hybrid Fitness, which was in Northwest Pennsylvania. It was my first brick and mortar space, and like it was an old cigar factory. It had like I had to do like 3 months of hard fucking labor at that space just to get it like not asbestos filled.
So it wasn't a gym.
No,
it was
no,
a factory.
It was literally
Yeah.
it had tar windows, like it was old school. It was a historic building. I had to sandblast the bricks and get all of the lead paint off the walls. I had to cut all the tar out of the windows and reseal them with tar because it'd been empty for years. I had to take down some walls, and I'm like, I didn't know how to use. None of my jobs really required me learning how to use tools and framing and shit like that.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of figure it out.
And they gave you this lease just based on your salary as a sheriff's officer.
They gave me this lease because I owned a security company at the time where I was
Okay.
staffing bouncers at different bars.
Yeah.
And one of my patrons, one of the bars that I did security for, she owned this whole block. And on this block was this building. And I'm like, that would be a perfect spot for me to have a gym. And so it was a sweetheart of a deal. She's like, here are the keys. I'm not putting a dime into it. You gotta fucking fix it up. It's $1 a square foot, so 1,500 feet, $1,500 a month.
Okay.
And I was like, sweet, let's go. So we opened Hybrid.
How many months did it take you to get it?
It took me 3 months to get the space to be like ready. And that entire time, thankfully I had like a little bit of, I didn't know shit about opening a business. But I had enough of like a thought in my brain to, hey, put the name of the gym that's coming here on your truck. Because your truck's gonna be out front for the next 3 fucking months.
True.
So I had so many looky-loos and people knocking on the door after like the first month of it, them seeing it. And then I had the heavy tire on top of my Jeep. And they're like, yo, is this gonna be a CrossFit gym? And no, it wasn't a CrossFit gym. We called it Hybrid Fitness because we took aspects from each sect of fitness that I liked.
Okay.
And I thought would be pretty much doable for 95% of people that walk through the door. Because some people came through with like physical impairments that we had to kind of work around. But anybody that kind of walked through the door, the business model was simple. You're going to pay $50 a month. I'm going to give you key card access 24 hours a day. Every single day at 4 a.m., a new workout of the day, or a WOD, is put on the whiteboard by me. I'm there at 4 a.m. and my house was right up the street,
Yep.
so super easy. And most mornings I was getting off bouncing at like 3:30, so I just go right to the gym and get everything ready. You do your workout of the day, or you can do whatever the fuck you want. It was a full gym. Like 1,500 square feet doesn't sound like a lot, but we had a 4-bay Olympic rig, so 4 people could be squatting. 6 people could be doing the monkey bars in the center while people are squatting. There was an elevator chute that I took out and climbed to the top and hung like a 40-foot climbing rope and anchored it to the building. So there was a climbing rope, so you can go up the chute. We had heavy tires, sledgehammers, dumbbells up to 100 pounds, punching bags, rowers, you name it. We pretty much squeezed all this equipment in there, and then I would just do one-on-ones whenever I felt like it. Like whenever it worked for my schedule.
Yeah.
At that time I was with the DOC, or I was just getting into the DOC, and so I was pretty much absentee the last, I think, 3 months of ownership because I had started work.
Yeah.
I started working at the jail, the prison, and I didn't know the business could have been profitable if I knew more about money.
So you kind of just bootstrapped it, figured it out, got the thing in operation,
Yeah.
and was just kind of operating on, I have money coming in and it's
Yeah.
all good. It wasn't like
Yeah, the gym cost me $19,000 to open, from start to finish. It was like 19 grand, including the equipment. There was a really cool company that was like, yo, I love what you're doing. We're gonna sell you the rig at cost, which the rig alone would have probably cost me today that much money. And it was just like, I loved it, labor of love. But like, you look at the bank account and you see, oh shit, you made 5 grand or 7 grand or 15 grand this month, and you know you paid the rent, and you know you paid the electric bill. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just take out 10 grand in cash and put it in my account. Well, that's not how.
Yeah.
It's not how that works for Uncle Sam.
Yeah, no.
You know, I didn't like my accountant think when I went to do taxes, like, hey, listen, you owe $13,000.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, fuck. And so it was a hard lesson to learn, but like, it was one that I needed to learn because I would have driven that business to the ground if I had just kept taking the money out, thinking that it was mine. It's the business's money. It's very different. Like, you can pay yourself, you can take a disbursement, you can put yourself on a salary or just take a paycheck, but that money's not tax free.
You have to either
You have to go
learn
through the proper
how
channels.
this
Yeah.
works or work with somebody, have an
100%.
accountant that works with you.
I like having the accountant for me only because it puts the liability on them, and if something gets fucked up, you're the fucking accountant. I pay you for this.
Yeah.
Will it happen? If it's on me, it's like, oh well, you're an idiot. Like you didn't know that you couldn't do that, but you did it anyways without assurance that you.
Yeah, they learn you tricks of the trade.
Yeah, and so it's also just nice to know. Hey, listen, there's this thing called depreciation. So you put in $19,000 worth of gym equipment, and you made money this year. You're profitable, but we should depreciate that equipment against what you've made, so that you can take a little bit of a loss and not owe so much back, which is completely legal. But that's shit that I wouldn't know. 'Cause it's not what I went to school for.
If you try to do it yourself to save money using TurboTax or something like that.
I think I was like the TurboTax guy the first year, and I was like, wait a second,
This might not be a good idea.
Yeah. And so then accountant step one. So
the first year was good though.
first year was great.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it was hard. Like there were the first couple of months, like people weren't flying in the first couple of months because I didn't know about Facebook marketing at the time. I had no idea about marketing.
And what year is this?
This is
roughly
2013.
2013. So Facebook marketing still is kind of.
I don't even know. It might not have been a thing.
I mean, probably a little
Instagram
bit.
was out because I remember taking like random oh, this will be a cool selfie.
Yeah.
And it's like a picture of me with the gym in the background, and I'm like, I can look back at that now and see what.
Yeah, if you
what
did
you
it then, holy shit.
Oh yeah, no, I can show you the photo. I'll show you when we're done.
Yeah, we can even try and add it in.
Yeah, it's like a photo of me, and it was like daily.
Well, that's all it was. It was selfie year.
Come to the gym.
2012
I'm
was
here.
selfie year.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm ready for you. And so that gym kind of grew to a spot where we had around 250 people, plus PT clients. There was a CrossFit gym that I accidentally ended up shutting down just because our price comparison and our equipment was nicer, but we were 4 times cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care if you use the gym for whatever you want to do. So there were a bunch of CrossFit apps out there at the time. So there was a barbell club in the area. The gym shut down. The barbell club that was going to that gym came to me, and then they started paying me rent.
Okay.
I'm like, yeah, you guys what, 9 o'clock at night when no one's here?
Hell yeah.
Go ahead, do whatever you want to do. I don't care. It's key card access. You can, as long as you're a member, you can do whatever you want. But if you want it to be just for you guys, then you got to pay rent.
Mm-hmm.
You got to lock that time down. And so they locked down like 2 hours, like 4 days a week, which was nice. That helped with money coming in. I ended up selling that gym to a young personal master trainer for Life Fitness.
So how long did you have it?
I had that
you
gym.
sold it?
So I sold it in August of 2015.
Oh, so
I had it for almost 2.5 years.
2.5, 3 years. Why'd you sell?
Honestly, it was just time. Like I saw my career path going further into law enforcement.
Okay.
At that time, like I was making the moves that I needed to make to get from where I needed to be on the ground level to a supervisory position, and the gym was taken away from that. Like there were things or events or overtimes that were always offered that I would turn down, which always looks bad on your chart. Oh, he turned down overtime 4 times last month. He's not like dedicated.
And at that time, were you more thinking? Because I kind of get into the same mindset where it's like you're thinking more money now compared to this business is just gonna make you money when you're not there. So you were kind of thinking, move forward in this job, keep making the overtime so I'm paying more, instead of build this business up, this can continue to make me money.
Yeah, I mean the business, if I would have kept it, and if I would have kept it and not sold it and weathered the storm of the ebbs and flows between both spaces, it would have been an amazing passive income generator because the overhead was so fucking low.
Yeah.
Like my overhead was maybe $5,000 a month.
I think that's where
And that
people
was
get
including part-time
stuck.
staff.
They're like, oh, this overtime's worth more than this business that I'm building on the side, and the business isn't producing anything because you're only making a little bit. But if you put a little more into that instead of the sheriff's job, maybe that would have 10x'd. I mean, everything happens for a reason. I'm just trying to talk to somebody else. You know what I mean?
At that point in time, my why was different than what my why is now. My why then was myopically focused on you want to become a supervisor in this, not even in that prison. I was supposed to switch from that prison. I had applied at a different one for a sergeant's position, and I had received it. And so it was just like, that's in a different, I moved over here to do the gym and to work for this DOC, and now I'm going to be going 30 miles that way. I'm like, this isn't going to work. I'm not going to be able just to drop what I'm doing to come here if there's an issue with the door access system, or hey, the lights didn't turn on today, or hey, the heat's not on. Like everything that could happen, you're as the owner, if you don't have a manager in a space, and the gym didn't need a manager, it was a low staff model. You're the plumber, you're the light bulb guy, you're the equipment repairman, you're the cleaner. Sometimes, depending on cleaners, will be, hey, I can't come today.
Yeah.
your $75 job isn't worth a $300 job that I'm going to go make, which I get your money, I get it. It means I'm off in the night. So it was just, if I could, actually, no, if I go back, I wouldn't change it.
Yeah, you can.
Because a ton of reasons. One, I wouldn't have met your sister. That's the most important one. And two, I don't think Wolf would have ever happened because I couldn't have done Wolf without your sister. But that job that I was in, if I would have focused strictly on that job in law enforcement, it wasn't fulfilling. I was literally just looking at money. Like, yeah, you can take a job that pays you $64,000 a year and work. Like we only worked pretty much like you guys do. I worked 3 days on, 4 days off, and then the next week I worked 2 12s. Mm-hmm. So I was working like 5 days every 14. But I would normally work 12 of those 14 days, even if it was an 8-hour overtime, because now you're taking home fucking $200,000 a year.
You're getting time and a half.
But what are you getting in return? You're getting money, but you're giving away all of your fucking time, all of your children's formative years. You're giving up your dreams because you don't have time for anything else. When you're working 12 hours to 14 hours a day in the jail, it's an hour commute, so let's call it 16. You hope to get 6 hours of sleep, shit, shower, shave, and get back and do it again. And then, overtime? And then all you hear is the cash register, but you're not understanding what you're giving up.
Yeah.
So,
you're like, I'm gonna have to go clean this toilet for free. This is a $50 job when I could go make time and a half.
But it wasn't fucking free, right?
Yeah,
because that was passive income.
Yep.
It was money that was money that was going to be in that register whether I was there or not. So, yes or no? I would have kept it, but I'm glad I didn't.
I think that's just like I don't want to run past this for people in law enforcement, in fire service, in any kind of job where you're always taking overtime. Like, no. It's great to do. If you really love it, it's your everything, your passion, awesome. But if it's not your passion, make sure that you can live off of the salary.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, spend some time doing something that you actually like and build something outside of there while you have that guaranteed income.
100%. I mean, I have so many friends who are still in that. I call it, it's a wheel. You are, whether you're in law enforcement, fire, EMS, prison, whatever you want, like whatever DOC, whatever you're doing, your overtime, and I know it's vital for some people, and it's a hard fucking thing to hear. You are giving more than you're getting. You're being offered overtime because somebody else did not want to work. Why didn't they want to work? What are they doing with their time off if they're not sick? Are they building their portfolio, doing something else? Are they on I didn't take vacations. Vacations wasn't a thing until I met your sister.
I take a lot of vacations.
No, I know.
But no, I know what you mean.
But like, I was more worried about the dollar.
No, absolutely.
I'm like, it was just, I'm still worried about money. Money's always going to be a worry. You know, it's because it's not infinite. But I worry less about it because I know that what we're doing, what the steps that we've put in place to kind of safeguard the money that comes into the space between Wolf and our other investments is that they work without us.
Yeah,
they work much better when you're there.
But I'm saying, like, with earned income, with the overtime, you have to be there. So
100%.
You made more money than someone else who didn't take the overtime, but you're there more. Who knows what you could be accomplishing outside of there if you love it. Again, there's people who love law enforcement, love this fire service, love EMS, and that's great. If that's your whole prime focus and you love everything about it, take the overtime because you're technically not working a day in your life.
You can love something and not be happy. I loved what I did. I loved working in the prison. I loved being in law enforcement because what I was doing I felt was important, but it did not make me happy.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't walking around miserable, but I wasn't fulfilled whatsoever. Except for when I looked at my bank account, and that's fleeting.
That goes no matter what. It's gonna go.
Your bills aren't gonna stop. It's gonna get spent. But like it was today. Okay, so I'll never be an absentee owner. That's just me personally. My ADD is like set to 14. Like I have to touch base with the gym. I want the members to know that we give a fucking shit. I don't care if like yesterday I went to the gym just to check on it. Like one of them, I worked at Brigantine all day. I went to Northfield and Absecon to pop in at both, make sure they were good. At both gyms, people just have shit aim when it comes to the trash can in the bathroom. So I'm picking up toilet paper and paper towels and little shreds, whatever. And the guy's like, yo, I really appreciate you doing that. I wouldn't think an owner would do that. I'm like, dude, if you clog that toilet, I'm diving in there with a plunger, trust me. I'm not gonna delegate that to the girl at the front desk or the guy at the front desk. I'm more than fucking capable. I'm not above any job in this gym. I've done them all 1,000 different ways.
Yep.
And so I just think it's important to be seen and to have that engagement. And today's day, we've got a 5-month-old baby. Mom she gets no food. He does not let her sleep. So this morning I did not have any clients. So get up. I get up. They text me around 6. She's awake, and so I go up and take the baby. She sleeps until 9. We shower, shave. We go to Northfield, check in, talk to the manager in place there. Just walk through the gym, make sure everything's the way that we like it, and then I'm here talking to you. Like, that's what we're working on.
And people are like, "Oh, you're not working today." It's like, technically, I'm always working. Like, you're always working, but you're just passionate about something.
Yeah.
It may not look like you're working because you're not swinging a hammer for 8 hours or something, but you're at work.
Well, I think work. When people use the word work, it's a 4-letter word, and they hear it as a 4-letter word.
Yeah.
Because it comes with a negative connotation that it's not something that's rewarding or enjoyable. Where for me, it couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah.
Like, I get emotional thinking about it because I'm a fucking mushy person, but also because it's changed my life. It really has. Doing what we do has completely changed my life. The day I met your sister, and it's Googleable, so I'll tell the whole fucking world.
Well, let's get to that. So we'll go through first. So you decide you're going to sell the gym because you want to focus on law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
So you sell the gym. Do you make a profit? Do you lose any money? How does that go down?
I made money.
You made money on it. Okay, so you made money on it, but you're like, all right, I'm going to focus on law enforcement.
Yeah,
now.
so I made money on the initial sale, and then I also put in a clause that for the next 12 months I wanted a piece of the action.
Okay.
Because I built it. I'm giving you. It's not like I'm giving you keys to a space where you're gonna you don't have to take off and run. You can just show up, do your fucking job, train these people to the best of your ability, give them a great fucking workout. They're already paying you, bro.
Yeah.
The best thing for him was he already had his own clients that he was training all over the area, locally in different gyms, that now could funnel into his space, just bolstering that base level income.
Yep.
And he was younger than me. He had, like, everybody's idea is different when it comes to training. And I think clients appreciate consistency, but also variety. So he was consistent in what he was doing with his clients the same way that I always was, but he brought to the table a different level of what he thought their ability was. That just, and because he was a boxer, I was a boxer, but I didn't box with clients because most clients didn't want to.
Mm-hmm.
But he made it part of his formula, and guess what? They all fucking loved it. And because I didn't want to do it, it was something new for them and exciting for them. So it was like, okay, Tony's gone, but I'll stick around for you. And it worked for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Mm-mm.
So you're all in on law enforcement.
All in law enforcement.
So what year is this?
Well, I sold in 2015, 16, 17. I'm working for the DOC out in Montgomery County.
Okay.
I was like the medical wing supervisor as far as law enforcement went. So you pretty much made sure the nurses and the staff primarily were safe, and then also the inmates, because medical in prisons has turned into a mental health issue more than it has like a broken arm, a broken leg, or shit like that. Like, some people are there for MRSA, whatever, that happens.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are there with, schizophrenia. There was a dude who was a cannibal. There were dudes who were, I forget the terminology, but there were psychotic people there. And coming off the street, not being medicated, and a lot of these mental health facilities shut down, and those people were just kind of
Throw them somewhere.
Hey, you're released. Yeah. You're out. Go cause havoc. Get rearrested. And they did. And a lot of them were smart enough to know, hey, listen, I have to do X to get Y, and Y being a jail cell with 3 meals and pills. So they'd go out and do something stupid. And on a county level, I think we could only hold them for 3 years max. And if they haven't been tried or found guilty of anything, they have to get released. Okay. So a lot of these guys would get released, leave the property, fuck up a car, and then get rearrested just because
it's cold outside.
Well, it's home, right?
Yeah.
It's cold outside. They don't. For the last 3 years, that's been home. They know they're going to get pills, and it takes them a long time to find these people's meds. Like, it could take you the entire 3 years to get these meds right because they don't know what they were on prior. There's no medical record when you get arrested.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm running the medical wing, and then what was it? Valentine's Day of 2017. There was an incident in the maximum security housing area where an inmate, I guess, started a fight with other inmates, tried to start a riot, whatever. They get the protocol is every time staff has a incident, whenever they come down to medical, get checked out, they go back to their assigned housing. This guy gets brought down in the morning, he's in max housing. He's cuffed, whatever. He gets cleared to go back. He was, I want to say, in medical for maybe 7 minutes, and then because I'm medical, I put him in the wheelchair. We went back. He get into the sally port, and then for 48 seconds there was a scuffle.
With just you and him?
No. There was. So I got bit on like my right inner thigh.
Okay.
This is going down a weird rabbit hole, but we'll just get through it. Long story short was, for 48 seconds there was a fight, and for some reason the supervisors decided not to, like, we all wrote reports, we all turned in our body camera footage, and for some reason the supervisors decided they didn't want to tell their boss, the warden.
Okay.
Which we had no idea about that, right? That's their level. That's not.
Because this is kind of a typical thing that happens in a prison. I mean,
yeah.
In terms of, you have to put them in their place in a way as least violent as possible.
Right, least violent possible. We're there for their care and protection. That's a primary focus of the DOCs. You're there to take care of them, keep them safe. You're not judge, jury, executioner. That shit's been done for them. And that's literally the way I took the job. I'm not here to tell you you did bad or you did wrong. You're fucking here.
Just follow these rules so that I can get paid because I'm
just
here to do a job.
These are the rules you have to follow, so I'm going to enforce them.
Yep.
But like, I wasn't a dick about it.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of good people in jail. Shit happens. Circumstances change. This guy, not so much. Anyways, 48 seconds go by. Because the supervisors took it upon themselves, this is in court shit, so you can look it up. They tried to cover it up for some reason. I guess there was incidences with this person a couple of days prior that had nothing to do with the staff on that day, but the supervisors were there. Mm-hmm. And so it turned into, you're fired, you're arrested, you're facing 30 to 60 years in prison for 11 felonies. What?
Which is hard to just come to grips with when you just...
Oh yeah, I was 31 at the time. That's a life sentence.
31, your son's how old?
He was 12.
You're 31, you have a 12-year-old son. You just sold a business. You're focused on a career path within this realm. Yeah. And you're facing charges for something.
So that job is gone, right? I'm like, before they told me I was, they just fired us. Yeah. I'm like, all right, whatever, fuck it. I'm going to go work. I already have a new job. I didn't do anything wrong. Who gives a shit? Well, wardens communicate. And so the warden, just to be a dick, told him, hey, listen, we just fired him for X, Y, and Z. And so they took the job away. And then 2 months later, I get a knock on the door. It's a detective saying, hey, we're pressing charges on you. You know why. I'm like, no, I don't fucking know why. Because I did my job. Yep. Didn't go out of my way to hurt anybody. I don't do that. I put in all the paperwork. I had a body camera on that was activated. So there's a fucking camera above my head in the ceiling. There's no sound, but there's sound in my chest. Yeah. Listen to the video. Well, for 3 years, we were hearing there were camera malfunctions. I'm like, no, there wasn't. It's uploaded. The FBI gets involved. We get all the videos. We have two trials go over the year of 1 year. One in January for 2.5 weeks, which resulted in a 14-hour or 17-hour deliberation. Not guilty of everything, except for they were hung on the one charge, a misdemeanor charge of official oppression, which nobody could define. And I looked it up, and it means official oppression is acting in an official capacity to take away someone's rights. Well, I didn't do that. I defended myself, which is my right. So a second trial happens in October. All 6 of us, there were 6 people present, 7 people, 3 supervisors, 4 officers. Okay. We're all being tried together because of the conspiracy charge. They thought that we all conspired to do this shit, and we did not. Long story short, not guilty of everything. They ended up dropping the last charge on me because I was just there for show.
But for 3 years you were guilty until innocent.
Yeah, almost 4 years. Yeah, I was 100% guilty. I lost friends. I lost family. I lost faith I lost faith in the judicial system, based on there was a clear and evident effort on trying to make us go broke and take the one offer. They offered us one offer. It was 3 to 10 years. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I couldn't be more adamant where I didn't do anything wrong. And I don't speak for other people, you know. But I know for my actions, I did nothing wrong. And crazy enough, the inmate even said that. He's like, I don't even know who that motherfucker is. I never met him before. Yeah. I don't work that area. I don't know who the fuck you are.
Yeah, I think what you said about the judicial system, that's like a serious problem. It's always just like they kind of get people to just take something because they're just like, dude, I just
I'm
need to get through
sitting
this.
in this courtroom. I think I had pneumonia that week too. I was coughing. I felt like shit the first trial. My mom's in the like 2 pews back, crying her fucking eyes out. Rightfully so. It's terrifying. My fiance is back at our first gym working because we had no staff at the time. We had just bought this gym in October, and now January I'm in trial. We had no staff. It was just her and I. We were 2 shifts passing at night. We're both working like 10 to 12 hours, going home, sleeping, taking care of the dogs, switching off. She's working the full 5 to 10 p.m. While I'm on trial, so she can't be there, and that's the only place she wanted to be. And so I'm sitting there thinking, what? How the fuck did I get here in life? And like, what have I done wrong? Like, and everything was like, you didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, you were a dipshit as a kid, but nothing to the level where this equates to this. And I'm sitting there and I hear something from the DA in open court saying, we're not going to show you evidence. We're going to tell you what we want, like what we believe is the truth, and we want you to discern that for yourself. We're not going to show you evidence. We're going to tell you what we think, and we're going to hope that you agree. So it's a show. It's theater. And I don't want to shit on the deputies or the judges or any of the lawyers that do their job. That's for you. This person had like a personal vendetta for whatever reason it was, just against this case. And like, he had like a Napoleon syndrome, I think. He'd like stand in front of us. We're all seated. We can't stand. We can't react. He'd walk in like an inch in front of our face and put his hand in front of our face to try to get an aggressive reaction. I'm like, bro, we're all professionals. Like, I get shit thrown at me. I've been stabbed. I've been shot. I get punched. I've been bitten on a daily fucking basis.
Yeah.
You think that you putting your little person finger in my face is gonna make me react in a bad way? Bro, unless you're threatening me with a gun, I'm not getting out of this chair.
Yeah.
Like, for the life of me, I'm not fucking moving. So it was just, you know, I had to go through it to get through it. And you said that the other day, we were talking about this, and I actually wrote that down because it was poignant. It was 100% accurate too. It was like, we had to go through that whole experience, and we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. We had to go through that to I just wanted to clear my name.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't care about any of the other bullshit. It would have been nice to like get back pay or legal fees returned, anything like I was owed, you know, because I didn't do anything fucking wrong. But at the end of the day, like, it was just, I just wanted to go home, and I didn't want to pucker up every time a fucking cop was 2 cars behind me.
For real, after doing it for years too.
Being on bail for 4 years, you can't have police interaction on bail because it comes up. What they do is they'll say any police interaction, and it's up to the discretion of the PO and the cop, whatever. Even a speeding ticket, they can violate you, and then you just sit in jail until your court date. I didn't want to go to jail for a speeding ticket. I waited 3 years for trial.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be done with it. So, you know, in this whole that was fired February 2017. The first trial was January of 2019. So your sister and I spent like a year and a half trying to figure out what we wanted to do.
Okay.
And in that whole time, one of these things on her vision board and her list of things that she wanted to personally achieve was she wanted to buy a beach house. Did you want to keep talking about that? Or
No, we're good.
So she pretty much said, hey, listen, I'm going to start driving around to these beach towns. I want to find a place. I'm like, all right, cool, let's go. Stumbled upon Brigantine, looking for condos and shit. Cute little town, loved it. Gym was there. It was dirty, it was old. I loved it. It reminded me of like an old school, like Gold's.
The crusty second floor gym.
Crusty second floor gym, man. But it had really cool like hammer strength. It had Gen 1 Nautilus. Not in great condition, but we fixed that since. Really nice body master stuff that like might not be physically appealing to a lot of people because they're used to the new shit. But equipment that I knew, like, okay, if we replace the torn, disgusting leather and we paint these things and fix the issues that are wrong with them, these are pieces that 1, will last a fucking lifetime, and 2, will look badass, and 3, do the job. And so we started. We went to the gym to work out, and I was like, hey, this is a great gym. Is it for sale? He's like, yeah, actually it is.
So you just randomly bumped into the owner?
You miss every shot you don't take.
Hell yeah.
He was the owner, coolest guy in the world, Ed, was on a spin bike behind the desk, just sweating his ass off spinning, and like, he's like, oh yeah, go for it, like work out, and we just start talking, and then like 4 months of negotiating, we rented out my house. She quit her job, which at the time that was her only source of income, and mine was like I was helping. I was pretty much managing a gym that one of my buddies bought, trying to fix it up because it was in a shit state when he bought it, and we were trying to make it to a spot where it could be profitable for him. And so it wasn't like I was tied to anything. And so when I was training people here and there, and so we ended up buying the house and not the condo, and buying the gym, and quitting the jobs and rolling the dice. And we literally bought everything we needed for the gym on my Amex for the first 2 or 3 months because we weren't cash flow positive for.
So how did you look at the gym? So you say to him, hey, are you interested in selling? He says, yeah. From there, what does he send you to kind of give people a blueprint of what they're going to go through?
In this situation, he sent me nothing because he wasn't like a records kind of person.
Yeah. Hey guys, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We got a whole playlist of videos talking about what it takes to build a superior you. Also, check out some of our merch at basulifestyle.com. Part 2 of my interview with Tony, you don't want to miss it. It's a whole blueprint about whether you want to buy an existing gym or open your own gym. It's going to cover all things that you haven't thought about. It's going to give you a step-by-step guide to opening your own gym, and also what Wolf Fitness is really all about. Stay tuned, check it out.